Hey, welcome back to episode 6 of our series on arrays. In case you missed it, check out our episode number 1 where we talk about methods that we can use on these arrays, and episodes 2 to 5 for our first, uses or real life uses of these methods and solving some questions. Today we're going to continue on and solve another question. Today we will be trying to reverse an array. So what we're going to do here is we'll get an input of an array, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we will get the output of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So it should be pretty straightforward. The idea is we take an array, turn it around, and output it. Now there are a couple different approaches that we can use for this one. I guess the easiest one that we can use would be the reverse method that you can call on an array. So array.reverse. All it does is it takes this input and then it outputs these numbers. That is one way of doing it. But there are some times where you're not allowed to use this method. So we'll go deeper in with two other methods as well. Our next one will be a while loop, in which case we have a two-pointer method. The idea would be that we have a pointer here. This would be our pointer number 1, and this would be our next pointer. So the idea would be that we swap these two positions and then we move them up. This would be here and here, then we swap this position and this position, and then when we get to a point where the pointers are the same value, we will break out of that loop and return the updated array. And our last one will be using unshift and placing the values on a new array. So basically the idea would be that we have an array, an empty array, and we have our input array. So we would shift, boom, then we would unshift the next one, boom, unshift the next one, boom, unshift the next one, boom, and unshift the next one, like that. You could also use a, push, and in that case you would just come in from the back. So we have this, so we start at the back, we push it on here, so it would be 5, then we move forward, we have 4, we push it on, boom, we have a 3, push it on, boom, get to 2, push it on, boom, and get the 1, push it on. So our unshift and our shift will be using a for of loop. So this will also be a loop, different than the while loop that we'll use up here. For time complexity, pretty much with the dot reverse, because it is a method that is accessible to all prototype arrays, the idea would be that would be O of n. Let's see, the while loop would also be in O of n, but the unshift would be, for number 3, that'd be O of n times n. Because every time we unshift something onto the array, it updates every item by shifting it to the right, more or less. All right, and then for our space complexity, for 1 and 2, we are not creating anything new. 2 pointers are just 1 and 2 variables, so there's 2 variables. So the linear time complexity, so O of 1. O of 1 space complexity, sorry, no auxiliary space is created. But for our shift, our unshift and push, we would create a whole new array with the exact same number, in which case that would be O of n for our number 3 method. So we're going to go ahead and jump into coding this out. So we'll start with our easiest method, array.reverse. A lot of interviews won't let you use this type of method because it's too easy. The idea would be to understand how this method works, but for simplicity's sake, we will show you that it does work. So first we'll say function, and we'll call it reverse, and reverse, okay? We'll pass in an array, and the simplicity of it is we just do this, array dot reverse. That's all you do. So we have console.log, and inside we'll say reverse, and we'll pass it the method, the array 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And over here we should get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we do get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So pretty easy. That would be the easiest method to implement, but a lot of times your interviewer, or I guess maybe the criteria that you have to meet for solving the problem will say that you cannot use this method. So that is what we're going to do with method number 2. So we have function reverse while, and we'll pass it in array. So we're going to have 2 variables. Let start equal 0, and we'll also have let end equal array dot length -1. So the idea here would be while start is less than end, what we're going to do is we will do, there are 2 ways of doing this one actually. So we can have a let temp equal array at start, and then over here we can say array at end equals array at start. Oops, got these back mixed up. Array at start equals array at end. And we use this because doing this here would erase the value at array at start. And over here we say array at end is equal to temp. And then we increment our start plus, and we decrement our end. Decrement our end here. And then we would return the array. We'll come back and clean this up in a second. I just want to show you that this works. So we do console.log, and inside we'll say reverse while. And we'll also pass it in the simple array 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's run it. Over here we'll get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. There is an easier way of doing this without using temp. With JavaScript, you can use something called deconstruction. The idea would be that we have array at start, comma, array at end is equal to array at end, array at start. So basically, we update these before they lose their values that they're being tied to. And we can do it again. We'll get the same values over here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, pretty straightforward with this. So a bit more code, but pretty much that is what's happening inside of this dot reverse. And our probably least time and space, I guess, focused method would be the unshift, in which case it would also be a for loop or a for of loop. So we could say function reverse unshift, and inside we'll pass it in array. Over here we'll say let output. So this is where we will be pushing it. And then here we say for const num of array. And over here we'll say output dot unshift, and we'll pass it in the number. So what this is doing is it's taking the first number of the array, pushing it in or unshifting it into the front. Second element of the array, unshifting it in from the front, so on and so on. And then here we'll do return output. Now this is significantly less code than this, but it is also significantly worse with the time and space complexity. So we'll come down here, console.log, we do reverse unshift, and we will pass in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And over here, let's reset, we'll get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Another way that we can do this is we can pretty much copy this whole thing. Copy. And we can do it with push. Push array. And over here, the idea would be that we are coming in from the back. So let I equal array dot length -1. I is greater than or equal to 0, and we'll be decrementing. So we're just coming in from the back. And here we'll say we will be pushing it onto the output. And what are we pushing? We're pushing array at I, and then we will be returning output. So here we have push. Boom, we'll get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the idea here is that we are taking the last element and pushing it on onto the array. So we have this array here. We take our last element, which is 5. We push it on. Next, we jump down to our 4. We push it on to this output. We push it there. And we go to our 3. We push it on. Boom. We then drop down to our 2, push it on, boom, and we drop down to our 1 and push it on, boom. Also, not the best time and space complexity. So pretty much this right here will be your best method for implementing it if you're not allowed to use your reverse method here. Yeah, so that was it. Pretty straightforward question. If you have any questions about this question, I know a lot of question right there. Put a comment down there. I'll try and get back to you as quick as possible. Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.